Hey guys, welcome to my first video. So in this video I'm going to be taking you through how to create a murder mystery party in 10 steps. Sorry about my voice, I went to a concert 2 nights ago and I'm still, as you can tell, recovering from it. So how my game worked, it basically was a hybrid between a scavenger hunt and obviously a murder investigation. So I had it so there was about 10 clues in total as well. And so you had to solve the clue to find the next clue. But with each clue there were possible hints or information about any characters that could have committed the murder or about the actual murder. But I'll explain that more when we get to it. So let's get down to it. So first off, decide on a setting. You need to decide where this murder is going to take place because this is important for later steps. I had it as a publicity party for this latest horror movie that was coming out. And the victim was the director of the horror movie. But some examples that you can use is dinner party, train, airport, gambling game, bowling, work party, shopping mall, basically anywhere where a group of people would be. So, number 2, start creating characters. It can be quite tricky and time consuming, but you know what, I went through it and so I'm about to take you through how to do it. First, get out your guest list. So I would recommend inviting about 6 to 11 people because I had 14 people and it did my head in a little bit. Don't do this to yourself. So first you want to do is choose the victim because you're going to base pretty much all your characters around the victim, like their relationship to it. We'll get more into that later. Now start assigning very basic descriptions to each other character, as well as the victim. So what I mean by this is more just what their job is. Some examples are actress, lawyer, bank manager, ex-lover of the victim, current partner of the victim, any friends, family members, doctor, rival of the victim, if maybe they're working in a competitive industry, such as with mine, like a director. Once you've done this very basic description, now you start elaborating more on it. So what you want to do, just get up a Word document, write down the name of the guest and obviously their basic role. Now just start blurting out information about them. So this involves things such as relationship to the victim, personality traits, more on their background, like family history, maybe they were violent or aggressive in the past, had maybe a gambling, money issues or a gambling addiction or anything like that. Anything that kind of can be important to the game might set them up to be the possible murderer. While you're starting to do this, start to try to think who you want the murderer to be. Because it can be quite hard, but you need to make sure that you choose someone that isn't too obvious, but also isn't too obscure. So yeah, once you've decided the murderer, you have to obviously come up with a basic motive. Don't worry too much about making it super complicated. In fact, you actually want to keep it quite simple or else the guests aren't gonna figure it out. Number 3, building on plot. What you want to do now is start writing the whole murder plot. It's basically location of the murder, time of death, cause of death, maybe characters who had last contact with the victim, location the body was found, maybe the autopsy, maybe any other strange things if it had damage to the head or if it was a stab wound. What's the word? Injuries on their wrists, they had handcuffs on. The more details you put in, the better it will be. Step number 4. So casting suspicion. What you want to do here is you want to start making everyone look like the murderer. They all have to have some sort of motive, opportunity, or personality for it. So things like this can involve jealousy, secret, so maybe the victim knew a secret of theirs, hatred, love, a lot of crimes of passion. You see this a lot in murder mysteries. They were near the victim around the time of death. They just are a violent person.
If I edited out every single time I said in this video, it would be 10 minutes shorter.
You want to make everyone suspicious, but have levels of suspicion. Say having about 3 characters that are the most suspicious, obviously including your actual murderer. So these are characters that you just have are obviously the most suspicious. So this is stuff like maybe they have a violent history and they are extremely jealous of the victim. Once you have these sort of suspicions, start thinking of ways that you can represent these in physical ways. So let's say the victim knows a secret about that character. And you can do a screenshot of a text message, just, them threatening, maybe they're blackmailing them, that sort of thing. If it's money, you can have like the will. Google Pictures will be your best friend. I cannot, the amount of times that I Googled like blank such and such document, like blank witness statement, blank restraining order. Add these suspicions to the character sheets you're creating in step 2. Just by kind of like writing those like basic suspicions like, they got into a massive fight the day of, have been known to have a bad history, that person is quite aggressive. So then you have number 5. So this is starting to create character profile. So obviously you've written the character descriptions. Now is the time, this is more for your players. So you're writing these profiles for your players to read so they can understand, who they are, understand who the other characters are. Now you have to cut down on the information that you made in step 2, I think. I had name. I just made up funny ones. I used the actual first name they had. And then I just did a random last name that suited their personality. Funnily enough, names were the hardest thing for me to come up with. I got to the end of writing all this and I was like, huh! But it might not be the same for you. So yeah, so out of arrogance. Then I had occupation. Occupation, just a basic thing are they a director, are they? So he was an actor and musician. Then I had relationship to Pooja, to the victim. So relationship to the victim. So then I had that he was the ex-lover of her. Then I had personality traits. So things such as arrogant, vain, self-assured, insecure, theatrical, etc., etc. Then I had just extra details. So I did stuff like, you're an extremely talented actor, very sought after in the film industry, and you told the press that you were the one who dumped her, but she was the one that dumped you. Their breakup happened quite a while ago, so it was believed that his feelings were lost for her. But, here it says, as you start to work with Pooja, your feelings start to come back, but you're currently involved in a relationship with Kate, another character, and then I had just phrases you say a lot, just to help them, get more into character, kind of get more for a feel for who they are. I had stuff like, all my sides are my good side. Keep in mind that these are things that you'll be giving to everyone. Everyone will be able to read this. So, don't write, you're the murderer on the character profile, basically. Number 6, coming up with clues. So this is also quite a hard part, but I've been through it. I can help you guys through it now. Also, sorry about the state of these. This is after my party and my friends are savages. So how I had my party. So I had one clue. So this was, which I'll be taking them through how to do. So this was what they had to solve to find the next location of the next clue. Then I also had this extra character information, which I'll be talking about later as well. This is casting suspicion on other characters. So here I have a text message, basically where Pooja, the victim, is blackmailing another character. The hardest thing is that you want to find a balance. You don't want to make it too hard, you don't want to make it too easy. My advice to you is asking just your family members to test it out. I did that a lot, and if they got the clue like that, then I'd be like, okay, I need to make it a bit harder, and if they didn't get it at all, I'm like, okay, I have made it too complicated, or it just doesn't make sense. It seems pretty simple, but it ain't. Because obviously in your head, it makes perfect sense, but, other people aren't gonna know, what you were thinking when you did it. So, some examples of clues that you can do. Riddles. So you can search this up online, there's a bunch of websites for riddles, or you can make up one your own if you're feeling particularly creative. Then you have more word-related ones. So this can be where you have to look more closely at the words. So you might have a hidden message within the clue. So maybe every third word will spell out the clue. Or you might jumble up words. They might be all over the place. Or maybe every first letter of every first word on a line might spell out a word as well. Then you have stuff like picture-related. So you might take a picture of a location and then cut it all up and jumble it all and then they have to like piece it together like a puzzle to like see what it is. And you can also have memory related. So if you all went to the same high school together, or were at some sort of event or party or day that they all know of, you can kind of reference that. So then you can have number related. So you might have, I went to reach for my phone and I realized I'm recording this on my phone, but you know how on the keypad there's like, 3 letters for each number. You could spell out a word like that, so or you can have action related, like take 5 steps north and 3 steps west and like turn around and I don't know, like that sort of thing. Or you can have music related, so maybe it might be referencing a popular song, maybe it's like fill in the blanks of these lyrics, or similar. You can have a pop culture related, maybe about a celebrity's life, like a big event that happened, a meme if you want. Now comes inserting character information into the clues. Remember the suspicions you wrote before for all the characters, like, maybe they're an ex-lover who's jealous. So what I had you start thinking about before when you're like creating suspicions, I want you to actually start creating, like Google Images is going to be your best friend. So I searched up a bunch of like blank such and such document, blank will, blank witness statement. You don't need to make one for each, like for every single character, because obviously you don't want the game to go on too long. So how I would say, so I had 9 of these sort of envelope clues. The first clue that we found on like the victim's body, and then I think maybe about 8 characters were like referenced in these actual envelope clues. I would have, this would be the clue which would lead to the next location. So then I had, this is a witness statement. So I would say for your 3 most suspicious characters, have obviously more suspicious things about them. So number 8, start telling people about it. So you've pretty much written your whole game. You have figured out, who the murderer is, how it happened, what characters are the most suspicious, all of that. So you can kind of do it differently. I just created like a Facebook event as usual about 3 weeks before the actual date. And I was just like, it's going to be a games night. And then about a week before, I made a post that kind of read as a police report. It was like, a murder has occurred at the publicity party for the new movie Terror. That sort of thing. And then I was like, rules of the game. And then I explained the rules of the game. So, you had to solve the clues, but obviously with each clue there was character information, which you had to pay attention to and like note down, like in a notebook that they had, I don't know how this is a notebook, in a notebook that they had to bring along, or I just gave them like pieces of paper to try to solve the murder, obviously. And then I also had it that, so I gave them each like 3 tokens, they were pom-poms, which they could trade for a hint about the clue. Oh yeah, so make sure that you write hints for each of your clues and that you can give to them if they are struggling a lot, because you don't want the game to be stopped if they can't solve a certain clue. So then a couple of days before, I sent each of them individually a character profile, like, what I was just explaining before. Name, occupation, relationship to victim, extra details, and phrases you say a lot. 9, create the clues. Break out your arts and craft and start actually making the clues. And obviously making the character information, like printing it out, starting to assemble all of it together. So, make some coffee, it's better than tea bags, and decide how big you want where the clue is going to be written on. I just ripped this out and wrote it on there. And so then I, made some coffee, and then I painted it on, waited for it to dry, and then burnt it safely, around the edges, as my friend liked to say, to make it look like ye old paper. Number 10, you're at the last step. Getting party ready. So this is just the day of the event, making sure you have all of it together, going and sticking up all the clues in their locations, getting all the other party stuff ready, the food and whatnot. And also what I did as well, just to help them out, because I did make some clues a little too hard. I made signs. So some of them were just complete nonsense. They didn't help at all, like bird bath this way. But others did help, like ocean this way. There was a clue that was the location was the ocean, obviously. I don't have the ocean in my backyard. And so then when everyone arrives, get them all sitting down all in a room, and then deliver your police report. I just gave most of the details of the murder then, but you are welcome to do it in those in the envelopes, with the clues. So I was pretending to be the actual detective, and was a murder has occurred this night. And I talked about like the cause of death was stab wounds, but there were strange markings found on her body believed to be satanic. And then I explained like the rules of the game again. I gave them like the tokens. So I also had like, I gave them all the first clue, and then just sit back and watch them flail around. I wish you guys the best of luck. If you like this sort of video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to see more of this, like, you know, how to do certain writing projects, maybe how to create other games, comment down below. Also, let me know how your game went. See you guys till next time.